Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 8 Boston Milan 2016. Thank you for being here this evening. My name is Divakar, and I'm a volunteer of 8. The journey of 8 began on a day like today, 25 years ago, back in 1991, when a group of graduate students at the University of Maryland came together to effect change. Some of you began that journey with us at that time. You believed in us and the work that was being done. That trust that you put into us has now borne fruit. What started as a group of young students supporting a school in Andhra Pradesh back in '91 has now exponentially grown to the organization that it is today. 8 today consists of 36 chapters across the US with a volunteer base of over 800, supporting annually about 100 projects. And as we grow as an organization, many of you are still with us on this journey. Your presence means a lot to us. You, the donors, constitute one of the pillars of aid. Through the phenomenal work of our partners on the ground, you become agents of change by improving the lives of millions back home. Through your support, a Muslim girl child in the outskirts of Ahmedabad in Gujarat can now go to school. Through your support, a malnourished Adivasi child can now eat a balanced meal. And through your support, yet another Dalit woman in Karnataka can now pull herself out of manual scavenging for an alternate means of livelihood. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to bring to you the voices of communities that usually go unheard, communities that have been marginalized for years. AID works on a range of issues across different regions of India. But what connects all our work is the strong conviction that every citizen of the country is entitled to certain fundamental rights, rights that have been systematically denied for decades, like the right to basic health care, the right to education, and the right to lead a life of dignity that's often taken for granted. Ladies and gentlemen, progress is not a solitary endeavor. It takes the combined efforts of every stakeholder in this journey. The people on the ground, our partners, who toil tirelessly for the cause, along with the people of India, who persevere day and night in spite of the injustices that are hurled onto them. And importantly, you and me, sitting in this room. So for those of you who have walked with us over the years, I thank you and trust that you'll continue to accompany us on this quest. For those of you who have just embarked on this journey, I invite you to join us and look at life through the eyes of a farmer in the Sundarbans and through the eyes of the fisherfolk of the Loktak Lake in Manipur who have been displaced. Change is a two-way street. And as we engage with compassion in the lives of these forgotten citizens, we realize that we, as human beings, and that our lives are more enriched for having walked down this path. So to take you deeper into this journey, I would like to invite the volunteers of 8 Boston to give you a glimpse of some of the work that your support has enabled. I'd also like to thank Senator Eldridge for his presence here today, and we hope for your continued support for our causes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nimish. Welcome to Milan 2016. As Divakar mentioned, AID is celebrating 25 years of its existence in the United States this year. At this juncture, we would like to reflect on the journey so far and share some of our thoughts for the future. Over the years, AID has worked with hundreds of partners across India and learned a lot about challenges and solutions when it comes to people-centered development. We have formulated our vision by saying that problems are interconnected and so must be the solutions. Revati, who is going to speak shortly here, has been sharing some of her inspiring stories with us in the last few days. She was telling her own journey from being a bird watcher to an organic farmer. She was talking about how she learned everything directly from farmers. She spoke of sovereignty of seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, viability of agriculture, and so on. And as she was sharing these stories, I realized that it is through such stories and such partners that we as an organization have weaved this big picture about agriculture. And that is true for most of the other areas as well. One of our partners in West Bengal has not only reclaimed land that was lost to a cyclone with the help of Revati, but over the years has scaled the organic farming from 25 farmers now to 20,000 farmers. So from the stage of being sort of proof of concepts, they are now ready to scale the impact to a much larger level. I would like to give a sense of the engagement that happens at this level for this kind of impact to happen. This picture here that you can see has few women protesting. They are former employees of Hindustan Unilever. And they are employees who were affected by severe mercury contamination. I just wanted to get a sense in the audience to see if any of you have been aware of their struggles fighting against their rights, except 8 volunteers. Yeah, I think that's the unfortunate level of awareness, and some awareness could have helped to get more attention to their cause. But our partners have been fighting with them for last 15 years with very limited resources. And only recently that 591 of the employees got settlement. Their work in Cuddalore for legal rights has recently resulted in National Green Tribunal directing the state government to provide clean drinking water to all the villages in the Sipcot industrial area where the drinking water is heavily polluted. We as volunteers have been engaging in these campaigns, and that has pushed us to think of environmental impact not only as a trade-off for industrial growth, but actually something that affects livelihood and the very existence of the communities affected by these environmental degradation. This has pushed us to make environmentally conscious choices here in our own lives and continue to engage with the organization that challenge unsustainable models of development and finding alternatives. One more story is from our partners in Haryana, this All India Dalit Mahila Adhikar Manch, who recently participated and led a rally in Gujarat to protest atrocities against Dalits and demanding rightful access to resources. More we engage with them, we have realized that none of these issues can be looked in isolation, and we cannot talk about them without understanding the social structures that deny basic human rights and dignity. We hope to engage more with them than before so that we can understand and explore these intersectionalities of caste, class, gender, religion, etc. in future. I'm sure most of us are aware of these statistics here. This is growing GDP of India in last 25 years. But as aid volunteers, we have made a habit to be aware of some lesser known statistics as well. For example, this diffusion-based map of India here shows death by malaria in the year 2014. The official estimate is 535 people, but the independent estimates claim that this could be as high as 2 lakhs. I just wanted to show this picture not only to show the severity of the problem, but also its variations across the country. Let me ask you another question. How many of you know that what percentage of Indian population is currently affected by water crisis? Any cases? 5, 10, 35, close but still much higher. This statistic says that 54% of India is suffering from high to very high water stress. I'm just showing these statistics to give you a broader context of development beyond economic growth. Friends, in this 25th year, it is in this context that we at AID are imagining our role to build a future that is just and sustainable. Some of these slides might paint a grim picture, but we have a lot of partners working on ground resolutely and against all odds to make it better.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shivangi. So how do we go about building this just and sustainable society that Nimish was talking about? I think by working with groups that are addressing issues in sustainable agriculture, meaningful education, healthcare for all, ending discrimination, etc. Now, if you look at this first graph, project disbursement, you'll see that our project disbursement has steadily gone up since 2013. A quick note, this data does not include one of our projects, Jan Swasthya Sahyog, for which a donor has donated $100,000 per year for a period of 5 years, and Amrita will be talking about it later. So anyway, coming back to this graph, in 2014, we had 6 new projects compared to 2013, and also our first project on Dalit rights. In 2015, we supported a total of 24 projects and disbursed $270,000. We had our first project on transgender rights and our first project in the Northeast in Manipur. In 2016, our goal is to disburse close to $300,000, which will enable us to maintain our current engagement with our partners as well as to scale up our existing efforts and involvements. Also, we are constantly learning through these projects we support and through interactions with our partners who work at the grassroots. And we often invite these very inspiring and phenomenal people to visit us and interact with us in person. We had 11 such events in 2015 with the grassroots activists, and I just have a handful of them listed out over here. We had Niti, who is challenging Unilever in Tamil Nadu. P. Sainath, who is an eminent journalist focusing on rural issues. Ajay Garu, who is involved in the land struggles in Andhra Pradesh. C. Srinivasan, who gave us a wonderful talk on waste management, and he also appeared on Amir Khan's TV show Satyamev Jayate. And we had this wonderful theatre group, Panmai. It is a transgender activist theatre group that visited Boston, and we got to watch their performance. Additionally, we had our Teammate Asha half marathon, full marathon annual fundraising program that happens in October. An annual Aid Boston open mic event, the proceeds of which went to the Tamil Nadu flood relief efforts. So essentially, our goal is to effect a wider social change by engaging with more groups and more partners at the grassroots, and also scaling up our existing involvement and efforts with these partners.
Hi, my name is Keetna, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about one of the focus areas within which our partners have made a huge social impact, and it is education. As we all know, education is essential for the advancement of a community. However, it is not available for all. The discrimination can be based on class, caste, gender, religion, region, geographic location, and so on. As you can see here, be it in 2001 or in 2011, the literacy rates for females were much lower than their male counterparts. Another starking observation here is that females from scheduled castes and scheduled tribes have even lower literacy rates. This is because of the gaps in our ever-evolving and ever-growing educational system. And some of our partners have identified their gaps and work in their own unique ways to fill them. For instance, in Shivrajpur, Gujarat, a tribal girl starts facing discrimination the day she is born. Her brother is given preference to go to school. Add to that, she has to go through flooded rivers, lack of security, these very dangerous ravines to go to a primary school which may or may not exist. Identifying this gap, our partner built a residential facility right next to the government school, which means girls between standard 9 and 12 are able to live together, cook together, have a lot of extracurricular activities, but most importantly, go to school every day. These girls also pick up a lot of livelihood generating skills like tailoring, basic computer education. In fact, a lot of these girls have gone on to become teachers, tailors, or even taken up higher education. Not very far from Shivrajpur is this place. Does anyone here recognize it? Where are the volunteers I placed? It's the Sabarmati riverfront. What does that remind us of? Maybe beautiful sunset, a walk. But what this meant to a lot of families was that they had to relocate to these homes. These families are resettled or displaced, and it can take between 10 to 15 years for them to settle down, if at all that happens. And during this time, education is not the priority. Livelihood and feeding the family takes precedence, which means there's a huge gap in education with a profound impact on these children. So, another adverse effect is that they might take up manual labor in the neighboring dump yard as rag pickers. Our partner then set up temporary educational centers where they work with over 750 displaced families with greater than 1,800 children. They also, besides setting up these stopgap educational measures, help these families get below the poverty line cards and voter IDs, which give them some form of credibility and also get them into the public distribution system for fair price food. Here is our volunteer Umang, who visited the educational centers and spent some time with these children. Another source of pride for us a few years ago was when we hosted the Commonwealth Games. Again, that came at a huge price for some of these families. In the slum areas in Delhi, we have a very inspirational partner who work with over 2,000 children where they are given assistance for education, school admissions, and examinations. They have a very unique system where art and craft is used as a form of expression and dialogue. All children are given a very safe space, especially girls, so they can express their opinions. In the last few years, it's been amazing to see some of these children take up leadership roles where they tackle challenges that they face on a day-to-day basis. Like our partner in Shivrajpur, we hope that these two new partnerships that we've taken will grow in size, in scope, in impact with all of your support, and our learnings will continue to develop as well. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Pooja, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the new spheres of work that we've been involved in over the last year. Our relationship with our partners isn't a one-way street. We learn from them. They push our understanding of social hierarchies, oppressions, and community dynamics. For instance, we've been working with this group in UP. It's a collective of about 5,000 farmers and laborers who deal with livelihood generation as their primary issue. Early on, they noticed that there were several fractions in the community. Some people who wouldn't work with the others, who weren't willing to sit with the others and eat with the others. They recognized this as a caste-based issue and upfront set up guiding principles for the organization, which abolished such mindsets and ensured that they all, as a community, work, grow, and progress together. What we learned from this experience was that one, caste is still a major problem, and it's a major problem that most of our partners have to deal with on an everyday basis. The second thing we learned was that caste is not just a rural problem, it's also something that's endemic to urban communities. In order to engage with caste issues in a more direct fashion, we started working with this group called Prarambha in Karnataka. It's a collective of manual scavengers. Imagine this. Your life is relegated to the demeaning job of cleaning human waste just because an oppressive caste system dictates so. Your children, they're going to be discriminated from birth. They have no way to grow, and if they want to get out of this profession, they're usually met with violence and aggression. That's the daily struggle of a manual scavenger. What Prarambha does is engages with them, one, on a symptomatic illness treatment paradigm, where they provide protective equipment such as gloves and masks and boots so that they can do their work, provide rehabilitation facilities for these manual scavengers, but they're also looking at long-term solutions. One, through education for children of the next generation, leadership building and capacity as well. Recently, 55 of their members took an oath to never be a part of manual scavenging again. And this is significant because for the first time, this group of people have decided to throw years of oppression, years of discrimination, years of society telling them that their place was at the bottom of the pyramid. We also took a conscious effort this year to engage with the transgender community, which is also another group of people who've been discriminated for years. They're persecuted, usually victims of physical and sexual abuse. They've usually been abandoned by their families, who either just throw them out of their houses or take them to doctors to be cured of their conditions. Because they have no employment opportunities open to them, most of them end up in sex work or begging for a living. What's even more sad is that the kind of violence that is perpetrated against them is usually by the administration, by police, by the border security force. So given that they have no support from their families, no support from a system that's meant to protect them, the space that our partner in West Bengal, the Karna Subarna Welfare Society, creates is invaluable. In creating shelters for them, in advocating for their rights, the message they're giving is, you are important to us. Your needs, your wants, your concerns are important and valid and must be addressed the same way anyone else's should be. In growing through this journey of understanding gender and caste dynamics, we also realize that language and regionalism is another divide that's present. For instance, the Northeast has been segregated from the rest of the country for a very long time. There are also increasing cases of violence and xenophobia against them. Working in Manipur with a group called CRAM, or the Center for Advocacy and Research. They work with indigenous and tribal people whose livelihood depends upon the lakes and rivers in the state. Currently, many of these communities have been displaced because one, there are rising lake waters due to damming on all the rivers, and number two, land grabbing by governments, political parties, by private interests to build resorts and hotels for tourists. CRAM obviously advocates for their rights, but in addition to that, they show us the flip side of development. Because really, at the end of the day, is a vacation in Manipur worth it when it comes at the cost of someone's home? Our partners, they've given us so many new insights into caste, gender, and regional divides within the country. They've also shown us that these divides can lead to the dehumanization of certain sections of society. And our goal for the future, as we engage with these partners and more, as we support their growth and their development and scale up, is that one day these marginalized communities would afford the same privileges the rest of us do and be able to live a life of dignity and self-respect.
Hi everyone, my name is Amrita. Article 47 of the Indian Constitution says that it is the duty of the state to improve public health so that each and every individual in the country can lead a dignified life. However, there is a huge and cruel inequity in the availability of health and access to healthcare between several communities. And of course, those left in the lurch are people on the bottom of the caste class socio-economic pyramid. Pooja mentioned some of the new direction that we in AID have been taking, but there are several partners who have tried and tested models that we are working with to help them improve and scale it up. One such long-term partner is Jan Swasthya Sahyog, which stands for People's Health Collective. They work in the state of Chhattisgarh to take modern and affordable healthcare to the remotest of villages. They actually serve a population of about 1.5 million people. To put this in perspective, Mass General Hospital in Boston also serves the same number of people, and they have thousands of doctors and access to a number of resources. Can anybody take a guess as to how many doctors work in GSS? Any guess? 30? Close? Any other guess? 2? That's a little low for 1.5 million people, but the actual number is 15 to 20 doctors. So how do they do this? How do they approach this problem? They actually do this by giving the ownership of health to the people themselves, by building up their capacity to be health workers. Healthcare for the people, by the people. Because from the first year of their 3-tiered approach, where they are people who have no background in health are trained to provide healthcare. They are the first in the line of defense in case of any ailments and common diseases. They are also trained to sound alarms in the case of impending epidemics. So here is a picture of a village health worker treating her patient. In the case of more complex cases, she would refer her patient to a senior health worker in the 3 subcenters available to about 225 villages. And here is an image of a senior health worker. We have the hospital near Bilaspur, where it has a reach to about 2,500 villages. You have doctors working there performing surgeries, complex surgeries in-house. And these doctors have a very challenging task in that they actually have access to knowledge through in the general wider medical community, which is actually present more in urban areas. And of course, the knowledge is also about urban populations. But rural health is very unique. And therefore, these doctors have a challenging task, and they've actually documented some of the diseases in the form of a book. For those interested, it's available for sale. They have also identified that malnourishment under the age of 3 can be so significant in a child's lifetime that it could cause physical and mental stunting. So therefore, they have launched the Full Body program, which ensures the child's nutrition and care through childcare centers. And through this program, they have actually reduced the child mortality rate, which was 86 per 1,000 live births in 2003 to about 29 per 1,000 in 2009. So here is a picture of the Full Body, as you can see. So JSS is just one of our partners who has a successful healthcare model. We are currently engaging with several such partners across India who have successful rural healthcare models, and we are working with them to scale it up so that healthcare is available to every single person, even in the remotest of villages, so that they can lead a dignified life.
Hi, my name is Somnath. In continuing with the thread that Amruta left us with, there are initiatives where we have consciously engaged to scale up the effort because that does lead to change. And this story of our effort in Sundarbans starts in 2009 with Cyclone Ayla that covered most of the islands with saline water. And what that means, you can well imagine, for a primarily agrarian community is a breakdown of agriculture and starvation or near starvation conditions. So what we were to do at that time, what we did at that time is turn to none else than Revati, who is have the pleasure of sitting with us today, and invited her to come to Sundarbans from Coimbatore. And at that time, she had already successfully reclaimed thousands of hectares of land after the tsunami of 2004. And this was a similar situation. So she came and she started working with just 25 farmers in reclaiming their land without almost any external inputs. And that's a huge, tall order to go to these remote areas of Sundarbans and reclaim land, and where you have access to almost no external resources. And at the same time, start training people on methods of sustainable agriculture. And the results were miraculous. After a few months, in almost like a desert-like condition, these farmers were able to grow crops and grow it really well. And that pumped us up and pumped the entire community up, and with the understanding that this needs to be taken forward. And how are we going to do this? Just like JSS, the idea was the power lies with the people. Power lies with the poorest person of India, whether they're the farmers, the Dalit women, the fisher folk, and that is where the power has to be unleashed from. And we followed that line of thought, and the farmers became the trainers the next year. So these 25 farmers reached out and trained about 400 farmers, and a select group of those trained 750 farmers, and it kept on growing year by year. And in 2016, we are working with 20,000 farmers. That's a scale up. Yeah, thanks to Revati and thanks to the farmers of Sundarbans. This was a very deliberate scale up. It wasn't just going about. It was a deliberate scale up because scale matters at some point in bringing about social change. You can work with models for so long, and to step up the process of social change, scale has to be brought in. And I think we are beginning to see the turning around of villages. Now, I can guarantee if you go to some of the islands where we work in Sundarbans and walk into any random village, you will find 70 to 80% of the people practicing organic agriculture on at least some part of their land. Now, I don't need to underscore the importance of organic farming and all that to a pretty sensitized crowd here. What I would try to bring your attention to is the global problem which no one can escape from. I don't know if you have heard about Anthropocene. It's the geological age which is marked by human activity. And the experts have used one of the markers of this geological age is the doubling of nitrogen and phosphorus in the soil of the entire earth, which means this destabilizes the overall nitrogen and phosphorus cycles, and this is primarily because of chemical fertilizer use. So we are at least working taking a very small but deliberate step in reversing that. This year we have started working on the last piece of the puzzle of going from the farm to the plate, which was a very difficult thing for us to do. And we have started 4 outlets run by the farmers of the Sundarbans in the city of Kolkata, where they get a fair remunerative price, which also makes their livelihood sustainable. Sustainability is not just environment, it's also about their livelihoods. It's also about consumers eating good food, growers growing good food, and saving the earth from the harmful effects of the chemicals. So as you can see, we have several of these efforts where we are scaling up. We have taken up new directions, and we have a lot of work that we are trying to sustain with tremendous amount of volunteer energy. And that is the reason this evening we are trying to raise at least $100,000 so that we can take these efforts forward in a very deliberate and strong way and bring about the small but necessary change towards a more just and sustainable society. Thank you.
Thank you to all the volunteers who presented. That was a very informative session. As Shivanki mentioned, we supported 24 projects last year, and we don't have the time to go through each and every project, but we do have annual reports and other publications, so please feel free to pick one up on your way out for more information. So while we as the volunteers of Aid Boston do take the work that we do very seriously, we also interact socially, and we have a lot of fun together. For example, we go on our annual Aid Boston camping trip in the summer, and we also have our annual open mic in December. We recently realized that a bunch of us have a keen interest in music, and we meet occasionally, very occasionally, to sing together. This led to the inception of what we call Band Aid. And so we've put together a short performance for you tonight. The first song is a song that's called Bring Me a Little Water, Sylvie. It was originally written and sung by the American folk and blues musician Lead Belly. The song presents a small snippet of the life of a farmer in the American rural South in the 1950s.
Bring me little water, Sylvie. Bring me little water now. Bring me little water slowly. Every little once in a while. Bring it in a bucket slowly. Bring it in a bucket now. Bring it in a bucket, Sylvie. Every little once in a while. Sylvie, come running, bucket in her hand. I will bring a little water, just about as fast as I can. Bring me little water, Sylvie. Bring me little water now. Bring me little water, Sylvie. Every little once in a while. Can't you see me coming? Can't you see me now? I will bring a little water, every little once in a while. Bring me little water, bring me little water, bring me little water, every little once in a while. Every little once in a while, oh Sylvie. Every little once in a while, oh Sylvie. Every little once in a while. Every little once in a while.
Thank you for that. The second song that we perform is a song called Naan Yen Pirandhen. It's in Tamil and was composed and performed by A.R. Rahman and his troupe. The song touches on the issues of female infanticide and talks about the discrimination of a dark-skinned girl who is shunned by the society. While we perform, we'll have some slides with the English translation of the lyrics. We will also show you some of the snippets from the day-to-day lives of our partners that constantly inspire us with their work.
பச்சக்கரையாவும் பாவக்காரு அல்ல நீயும் நானும் யாரு குத்தங்கொர சொல்ல புத்தலுள்ள மூங்கில்ல சத்தமுள்ள பாட்டு வரும் கண்ணங்காரு மேகோந்தா உயிர் வாழ பயிர் வாழ மழை கொட்டுதே I எதுவும் அழகு கண்டறியாதே. நான் ஏன் பிறந்தேன்? ஏன் பிறந்தேன்? தெரியாதே. பச்சைகள் யாவும் பாவக்கரு அல்ல, நீ நானு யாரு குத்தங்குற சொல்ல. கொத்தலுள்ள மூங்கில்ல சத்தமுள்ள பாட்டு வரும். கண்ணங்கள் மேகம் தான் உயிர் வாழ பயிர் வாழ மழை குட்டுதே.
I would now like to introduce a very special guest, a partner, Revati. Revati has always been a nature lover. Her love of nature drew her into traditional and organic methods of farming. Her moment of truth came during the devastating tsunami of 2004, when saline water invaded and ruined coastal farmlands. Through the use of indigenous seed varieties and organic farming techniques, Revati reclaimed 3,000 acres of growing farmland in Nagapattinam within 3 months. And this attracted the attention of the district collector, then President Abdul Kalam, and the US President Bill Clinton. Following the tsunami, she worked in Sri Lanka and Indonesia, reclaiming land and introducing organic methods to farmers there. She was also instrumental in rehabilitating land after the cyclone Ayla in West Bengal in 2009. In Sundarbans, with a few farmers, as Somnath mentioned, has now blossomed into over 20,000 farmers taking up sustainable methods of farming. Most recently, she's been working with farmers affected by the floods in Tamil Nadu in Kadalur late last year, and has restored over 3,000 acres of land so far, and has gotten the region back on its feet when many had lost any signs of hope. Her work has touched more than 1.1 million farmers, helped reclaim land and livelihoods in 22 disaster situations, and has been recognized by the governments of India, Sri Lanka, and Indonesia. Her primary work involves changing the philosophy of farming in many parts of India by training farming communities to switch from industrial to eco-friendly, sustainable practices. Without further ado, I invite Revati to talk to us about the truly amazing work that she does.
Green greetings to all of you. First of all, I wish to express my sincere thanks to Boston Aid volunteers for providing me this wonderful opportunity to meet all great people you all here today, the supporters and friends of Aid. I was associated with Aid at 2004, and I am very proudful that I am traveling along with Aid for the past 12 years. In the history of 25 years of journey and being with Aid, really I'm very proudful and happy. And today evening is a very great opportunity for me to meet the people, great people behind Aid. Thank you, all of you, for spending time with us in this evening. So basically, we have an organization called Inspire. We had the other name earlier, but because of our work and everywhere we speak, people saying that my name is changed, Inspire, Inspire, Inspire. So we changed the name itself as Inspire because people feel convenient. So Inspire basically works with communities to make them self-reliant, confident, and to face whatever is coming towards to affect their small livelihoods. Please. So basically our work is a research and development. We have a participatory research approach. Wherever we go, we develop a cadre of farmers. We select lead farmers and master farmers. We train them to test everything on their land and recording it in farm registers and making them as masters for their own community, seeds for their community. Like that, we travel many places of India wherever the farmers lost their aspirations and even killing themselves. So far we touched 1100,000 plus lives of the farmers, and now their lands are get revived from the salinity and all hazards of chemical farming, and they are living together with the nature and living with a small ecosystem they regenerated because of our support and our technologies. So like that, we traveled from 2004 to 2016 till today to different places, and especially our program is as we shown our expertise in the disaster area of tsunami, it becomes our lives become little disastrous. So wherever disaster happens, people expected our support and help. So far we traveled to many places and 22 disaster recovery projects, and in most of the places, most of the days, people couldn't get connected to me. Even now, if I give cards to you, my phone numbers and email IDs, if you couldn't reach me, please wait. I will be some of the places where the access is very much less. I can explain. I was at Indonesia for several months, where 7,000 earthquakes in a year, and people have no access at all for all these things. At Sundarban, 10 lakh people are living, no electricity, no roads, nothing else. So like that, wherever we go, in the Sri Lankan conditions, 4 years I spent under the UN project. You know very well, the war was at its peak. I worked at the eastern and the northern provincial areas with 4.5 lakhs of farmers. So most of the times you couldn't reach me. And even then, 8 volunteers, I won't send any email, no photos, no communications, but only one organization. So far, we travel with many organizations. Really, we get connected with 700 organizations of the globe. We are very proudful, only one organization, because of the organization, how it's structured, the volunteers, the pillars of the organization, one or the other, they will make a call, they will make hundreds of efforts to reach me, and they will ask me, you're all right. So being alone in a very worst situation, mostly I travel alone, I stays with the farmers, language and other things are not barriers. I can say my Indonesian experience when I come across this. So I am very, very happy and blessed to be associated with AID. So you are all the people supporting AID. So I really want to salute you for the great support that you're the people making AID alive, flourishing, and supporting aid to reach several heights. So we are at the end. The communities are on the other end. So through your efforts, the chain is continued, and the last end, a lot of people are benefiting. So this event is entirely new to me. So I don't know how to continue this. But I want to say only one thing. People, whenever listening to a lot of issues, a lot of other things, negative things happening everywhere, people are thinking that, oh, these are all huge issues. How I can contribute? Every time when we saw the huge disaster or something, even the governments have the same mentality. This disaster is huge. Response is not something, not immediately we can do like that. So people on the other end, they are really very much suffering because of the negligence and because of the avoidance. Many people, they have good heart, but they thought that it is impossible because they thought that the volume of the disaster, volume of the problem is really making them afraid of entering into that. But for us, how we make it, wherever we go, people are asking, oh, you can change the entire thing? What do you think? Why are you trying this much hard? Because you are not going to change everything. We understand we are not going to change everything. But for them, I just tell a belief of me. A small girl, every day she goes to the coast. Because of the velocity of the waves, lot of starfish are thrown on the ocean, on the seashore from the ocean. She went behind each and every one, how much possible every day. She took it and bring them back to ocean. So his friends and others, her friends, they asked the elders, they laughed at her action and they asked her, is in this big seashore, your activity has any significant impact? So she replied, I don't know what impact it can have, but a small starfish, the one which I touched and which I saved and which I brought back to the ocean, it is a big impact on its life. It got the survival back. So everyone whom you touched because of your support, however small it may be, the problems may be many, many folds. The problems are keep on increasing, but you contributed. Your contribution made many changes. So for that, once again, I thank you all for supporting AID for all these years, 25 years. An organization is surviving in this mode. Lot of all, every year I saw new volunteers. Volunteers, I couldn't remember the names. They are moving, new people coming. It's like a river with the fresh water. It's not a stagnating thing. Very proudful. So this tsunami time, it was the same story. The tsunami hit the coast and lot of seaweed was deposited. The land's completely salined. So the land became a salt bed. So all the technical institutions, they are coming and saying that it will take 10 years or that. If you want, we can give the land, other lands, because they want the coastal lands back from the hands of the farmers. The coastals are maintaining the ecology and the environment. But the lands have a lot of potential for many other purposes, vested interest purpose. So they are trying to make the farmers move out of that area because saying that it will be another 10 years or 15 years time. So people started crying, and where will they go? They know only farming. And if they want to move from that place, they will be the refugee in their own country. Has to do a bigger job. So that is the time an organization like Inspire, we worked for many things, seed savers, and then research and dissemination like that. But our first implementation, it was because of tsunami. We entered into the land and we shared with the farmers, don't lose your confidence. Whatever nature has done to your land, it is Mother Nature. Definitely she will support us. Get back the lands. Please wait for 6 months. It was our promise. So, but if nobody was ready to believe us. So we recorded each and every aspect of this saline reclamation. We don't know that how it is going to reflect in the future, but we have done that. So within 4 months of time, luckily we had very good rainfalls. We incorporated so many techniques, organic techniques. Before tsunami, complete 1 year, I traveled many places in India. I met 66,000 farmers and all the lands are saline lands. You think of it. But it is not because of tsunami, it's man-made salinity. Because of excessive usage of chemicals, these lands were made saline. So I treated with those lands and I get experienced. I don't know that this experience is going to be utilized very soon, but we were carried by the wind because of the tsunami things. We settled there, we worked with the communities. We means myself and my husband. My husband was an aviation officer. Because of my influence, he was a very good volunteer because he speaks 10 languages, good driver, many things. So I exploited him and made him as a full-time volunteer. Both of us resigned from our jobs and we moved to the place and we lived in a house, only one house which has a restroom facility in the village. So our work started from the 50 meters of the ocean tsunami affected area. So within 4 months of time, luckily we reclaimed the land and farmers started growing. 1,200 acres, 2 villages completely recovered. Immediately the media, the global media entered into the scene. BBC took the film, CNN arrived, and Voice of America, Dutch radio. These people, they were very much impressed and they motivated, and the global media took this to beyond the heights. So, Michigan University, California University, the Harvard University, they visited the area and they were surprised by the speedy recovery of the soil. That time only we came to know that we were entered into a very dangerous path because 30% of the global lands are saline lands, it seems, and no proven solution so far. And this organic techniques, first time we demonstrated in a large scale in a disaster area. So everybody wants the technique to repeat. Okay, so then next visit was followed by our Honorable then President Dr. Abdul Kalam. He was impressed and he visited just to say, motivate, to say, go, just to encourage we too. Youngsters educated well and leaving the jobs and sitting in the village doing help. This is the one impressed me. For that only I came here. And he had a paper writing in his own words. And he asked the communities gathered there, the villagers who reclined. He said, being a scientist, it was very tough recovering the lands in a very short span of time. So you couldn't spend even 1 rupee for alcohol. The lands are ready, so you're going to do farming again. The benefits, you should not use it for alcohol. That is the one you have to give back to Revati. So that is what he said, very motivated words. Next visit was the great Clinton's visit. Clinton, he met only 3 persons. One for Casa for building homes, and second one, the fisherman representation, and third one, agriculture. He had a lot of information. It was surprising. Immediately he came to the point. I just arrived from Indonesia and Sri Lanka. Being the UN ambassador for tsunami rehabilitation, I'm very much worried on seeing the farmlands. We are doing a lot of efforts, but nothing worked out. But here the stories are very successful. So why can't we together try in those lands also? It was the real invitation. We didn't even think about it. Indonesia and Sri Lanka and all beyond our limit. Just 2 people. We don't have an organization or people or office, nothing like that. We accepted. It worked out, and through UNESCO and UN, we went to Indonesia. So our Indonesia experience really surprising. When we landed there, 1 year was over. And real tsunami we experienced. 100,000 tons of weight of a ship. It moved 11 kilometers away from the shore by the tsunami waves. And it settled in the village. And you couldn't get it back to the ocean. So the local people, they made it as a government office with the 300 rooms. And they put the steps. And every day they are utilizing it. Oh my God, this is tsunami. We experienced it. Even though we touched by the areas affected by tsunami in the Indian condition in Sri Lanka, but where it originally originated, we really afraid of it. But people there, they lost everything. 160,000 lives. The lands now completely broken. Nothing is available. The people, most of them passed away. Seas have gone. Tractors are not there. Tools are not there. Animals are not there. We have to start the first study of agriculture. but people used to say Hanna Masala, Hanna Masala. All are Muslim people. Being a vegetarian, they are providing me octopus and all other things. And so when they came to know, they were very good people. They loved. We don't know any language. The language is a mixed language. Actually, Arabians, Chinese, Europeans, Hindus, languages mixed together. They put it in a mixie, and that is the language they have. So for me, I quickly learned words from people, but I learned only one word altogether, all the words. That is Anna Masala. Masala is slightly related to Indian things. So Anna Masala, I learned. Always they say Anna Masala, Anna Masala. On my return, I just asked them. 32 islands I traveled. I stayed with them for months together. No language, no verbal communication, all action. What I will do, they will repeat it. Okay, but nice experience. So on my return, because 7,000 earthquakes, if you eat, the plate will move, the bed will move. Small earthquakes every day. So you should balance it. For me, being a polio person, affected person, 20% performance of the right leg. And sometimes the land will move this side or this side. So walking itself a problem. But we managed everything because of the love and affection of the people. They care because you are for them. So this mutual relationship, it was amazing. So when on my return, I asked them, always you are saying Hana Masala, what is it? They said, no problem. That is the meaning for the word. What is the problem remaining? I don't know. I really cried. They lost everything, but the spirit they have, it's awesome. So we moved to Sundarbans. Once we get returned from Sri Lanka experience, I'm sorry, I don't want to share with you because I will start crying. Because I was there seeing all the atrocities of the war, all the 4 years, sometime with the team, in the initial, we were invited to support 7 villages. Very soon, 350 villages. Very soon, 1 district. Very soon, 4 districts. Finally, 7 districts with 4.5 lakhs of farmers. I mean, 450,000, 100,000 farmers we worked with. So initially, I had a team, but because of the internal conflicts, the local group, fragmented group, they thought that I'm supporting, another militant group. So they hijacked with AK-47. So rescuing my team becomes a very big problem. So afterwards, I sent everyone outside of the country. I remained there. Every day I travel 150 kilometers from the town. The curfew is there. 6 o'clock they will release it, and evening 6 o'clock before that you have to reach. Otherwise, no surety. UN provided me vehicle, siren, radioactive transmitters. For security briefing every day, I have to travel 150 kilometers and coming 150 kilometers back and staying with the communities. So Sundarban experience something amazing. Somnath shared. So there is nothing. They have only 2 things. Please support Sundarban people. They have very good spirit. All the 22 disaster recovery programs, people becomes dependent on you. Their expectations are every growing because they lost everything. Here at Sundarbans, they don't have anything at all. No roads, only kacha roads. When we were taken to Sundarbans, it's just 4 hours journey from West Bengal. We saw that, it's a good place, but the roads are not there. They said the vehicle is waiting for you. I saw the vehicle, nowhere vehicle. It's just a bike, a wooden plank was there. I have to sit on the wooden plank. 4 of us. Going into the Sundarban forest at 2 o'clock in the midnight. The moon was so good. We happily enjoyed and we entered into the village. Villagers say, oh, you traveled in the midnight here? What happened? Yesterday only a tiger, Bengal tiger, it moved with 4 cubs. It is still roaming here only. Oh, we were escaped. Okay. So like that, we have a lot of experience with people, but the people know so good. They didn't expect anything from you. They asked you, please give the technique, how we can get back the lands. The lands become solid. So our efforts, see the name boards, they have given these names. When I went there, everybody has a name. They applied my technique and they give the name. No universities give the degree to be a doctorate. This is the doctorate or the award most precious. Sundarban people provided me. I have the name boards. Everywhere I travel. This is the real motivation they provided to me. So this is the present story. The recent disaster. 7 months before, during the Diwali day, last year Diwali, the Kalalu, the coastal area, completely destroyed by the flood. Flood brings normally water, everybody knows that, but this flood brings lot of sand, 15 feet height sand. The lands and houses, everything buried inside. So the 121 villages completely buried. When we asked support for people, because people started killing themselves, they don't know what to do with this land. 6 lives have gone. We approached every authority, planning commission, officers, everyone. They said the GDP contribution of this area is very, very less. If we spend for this, it won't. The returns are not good. So many things. But aid came forward to support this. Through all of your support, we put the Bhumi Puja. We asked Mother Earth, please be with us. All the things happen to you. It is very painful for the Mother Earth. Going to make you painful for all these things, but it will get ready. So missionary support, through all of your support, volunteer support, we touched 2,373 farmers, all their lands, 40,000 tons of sand removed, and many areas the land was completely taken away, these sands filled in, and once again plastic surgery of floods and bringing back the lands into position, and even more better than what they have. We teach them the contour bunding and how to restore their lands even in the future disasters, and brought everything back to the this thing. So 3,000, 1 minute, please. So people, the governments and others said it will cost $3,000 to $6,000. Carry this fund because 120 villages, huge amount. But finally, when we finished the project with the aid support, entire these acres are cleared by only one support aid, and I am on the ground, 2 people, and we don't have other people. So from the Boston chapter donated a wonderful person from here, Madhu. He is the person stayed with me all the 3 months in the land. We stay in the farmers' houses. There won't be any toilet, no food, nothing. We stayed in the hard sun of 48 degrees. The desert sand, he stayed with me, and he supported for all these projects, not only through the money, but by the human resources also. Aid traveled together with me and we achieved. So now the program was very well going, and finally for 1 acre reclamation, when we put the cost, it was $60 instead of the $6,000. So now we keep on moving. And other people, other areas, once again, they started calling us. So during this journey, we came to know that why Indian farming is suffering like anything. Please move. So we have lot rich heritage, seeds, everything. But today, present condition, every 1 of our 5 farmers committing suicide. So why this happened? Because the farm, next. So the farmers, they lost the aspirations at all. The crushing policies and the impact of global warming. We are discussing about global warming in huge forums, but it results in the last end, who are most vulnerable and who are living in the coastal areas. Though no seasonal rainfall for us, only cyclonic rainfall. Cyclonic rainfall is a rogue. We couldn't get the calendar. It will come at any time. It will collapse any activity. So next, please. So this is our organization. We are working with farmers in a skill development program. I don't have time to discuss. Please move. So how we are educating the farmers. So their cost of cultivation is drastically very much, many times increased. So because of that, they are not getting, even they get good returns, the loss is there. And the lads, they were very, very fatigued, farmers and lads. And the insects, now they developed immune system. If you go to Andhra, 6 feet tall man, he consumes 6 ml of poison to kill himself. The line of control, you are familiar with. One line of control between Kashmir and Pakistan. It was the most sensitive area in India. But for me, the line of control is in between 2 farms. They have a bund. That is the very, very fearful area for the farmers. If the insect is there in his farm, tomorrow it will jump into this farm and make a lot of damage. So farmers, they are afraid of insects because the insects develop a lot of immune power. The 6 ml poison, it kills a farmer, but when the bottle is opened, in the raw solution, if an insect is put inside, it is just swimming. When we tested in the lab, it develops 300% immune power. Without understanding, they enter into this chakra view. How to get back, they don't know. So the US farmer, when we were there, the last visit, my son runs with a person. He thought that he was an astronaut. He wants to take a snap. But finally, we came to know he was the person going to do pesticide application. But look at our farmer. He removes everything, and because he wants to avoid the smell. But it's a systemic poison. It enters into a system, and a lot of farmers, they're killed by cancers. If you go to Punjab, there is a train called the cancer train. Please go to the website and search for it. Punjab farmers who cultivated and who supported the country, now they are suffered by anything but cancer. So this endosulfan, you might have heard about it. They are not the people, farmers, but they lived there. Because of the endosulfan spray, continuously aerial spray, the helicopters, they reached an altitude, they couldn't come down because the power transmitters are there. The air and water polluted, and now the children are like this, picked. And even when the case was in the court, many times I visited, I motivated them. At the time I saw a child, many children are like that only. Their blood plasma contains endosulfan. So the parents, when they deliver babies, the babies are with the bodies hanging outside. There is no skin formation at all. So the dogs running there, they come and they bite and they take. The killing is so violent and so horrible. When they are crying for support, you couldn't say no. Have to stay with them. Know the way. Okay. So next. So farmers coming to us, they are saying that they don't have any social relation. They were completely excluded, and they have no dignity at all. Even the children of farmers, they are not respecting the farmers. The farmers coming to me asking me if my son wants to go for MBA. Everybody is crazy about MBA in India. So MBA is so high, he wants to get my lands sold, and the money he needs. If I sold the land, I will lose everything. What shall I do? Bring your son, I will talk to him. So when the sons are there, I just ask them, what are you going to do? Finance management or human resource management, like that, one specialization. Then I will ask him, do you want to meet a person who is having 32 MBA? Oh, we are inquisitive. 32 MBA, one person. Yes, we want. So a person who manages 32 things successfully to get one crop is your father. If we do crop management, pest management, disease management, water management, labor management, market management, disease management, and every management, if he controls 32 things, really he can get a good crop. So he completed 32 MBAs. Okay, if you want to study something, sit at his foot, learn from him. Don't spend money for capitation fees or some other thing. Join with him, give a shoulder. He's suffering now. Give a shoulder, then he can come back. So like that only we are motivating and educating people, please. See, we are saying that to the fellow farmers, don't worry, you have well protection system. See, the spiders, they are your ground force, they are the police, they are the army, they will help you. And you have the other protective system given by nature. They are your air force. The dragonflies, they search, who are coming without passport, without visa, they will consume the eggs. So if one vegetarian is there, you have 32 enemies around in and around. So we are teaching the farmers not with words like harmful insects, beneficial insects, simply vegetarians and non-vegetarians. Vegetarians are the one consuming your plant. Non-vegetarian, they will eat that. So they have very many hunting mechanisms to control over it. Simple. Please keep quiet. Next. So be a butterfly. Butterfly is like an American consumer. It consumes a lot. All of us. So obesity, me too. So when the butterfly was in the worm stage, it is like us. It is consuming a lot, exploiting nature, and making a lot of botherations to the neighborhood. Once it realizes, it goes to the meditation. It builds a nest and it sleeps and it thinks about it. And because of the passions and for the meditation, Mother Nature is happy, and she provided a good wings, a nice dress. Now the worm is no need to crawl. It can fly because it becomes light. It is not a consumer or exploited. Now it is blessed with the straw. So royal food honey is available for it. So what it is doing, a butterfly, it goes to every flower. It touches every flower. It takes a little honey. No flower is complaining that it is exploiting me or it is giving burden to me. On return, this butterfly, it carries the pollen grain and it moves everywhere and it spreads the message of nature and it is being a part of nature. So I am requesting the farmers, please be a butterfly, part of nature. Get it something, but be a part of it. Don't exploit it. If you kill something in nature, then it will result on your head. Then suicide is the result. So please move out of all these hazardous things and road back to nature. This is what the message we are delivering to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Revati, for that very inspiring.
Sorry for consuming much time.
Does anyone have any questions for Revati?
I can just speak like this. So, I'm interested to know how did they react to a Indian lady dressed in sari in Indonesia? Initially, I'm sure pretty soon they became friendly, but what was their initial reaction? Because I saw that picture up there.
Yes, it's very good, very good thing. We will cross the boundaries at the time of need of the hour. When we reached Indonesia, already 1 year over, and nothing germinated. And FAO was the one facilitated the efforts. And the lands, though, it was completely saline, and they were paddy farmers, most of them. And the paddy grows only this much height. It doesn't grow. It couldn't grow because of the salinity. But the weeds, they grown like this. Even in my last visit, when I was at USDA, the interactions were anything about the superweed. Superweed means like the insects, weeds develop immune power. So at the Indonesia, the paddy was like this height, but the weed is this much height. They badly require support. When somebody is coming from a foreign place and they have the solution to you, you won't think whether lady or sari or religion or something. You are the God for them. Okay.
Two-parted question, Revati.
Thank you.
Number one. Maybe I should just sit down. Two-parted question. One, do you have any scientific training? And more importantly, what gives you this motivation? Where does it come from? Thank you.
Yeah. I just, my life is really blessed with so many things. When I was a 6 months baby, I got affected by polio. My father was a headmaster, my mother too well educated, but they lived in a rural place. So at that time, they couldn't make me immediately walk. So at the age of 4.5 years only, I could able to walk. When the external world is busily functioning, for me, no choice. So I was kept near the window watching the external world. So the birds are the one, they took pity on me and they traveled and they sat with me and they conveyed the message of nature and other things. Every time they bring something, because they understand I couldn't walk and move and I won't harm them. So the good relationship started from those days. I became a bird watcher in later days. So I visited to many forests, nature walks, mountains. I took children with them. So everybody is important. That's what my message. So we travel a lot. One day, I got an opportunity working as an associate member in an institute called SACON, Salim Ali Center for Ornithology and Natural History. I'm a scientific temperament person. All the years I'm doing a lot of research, a lot of studies like that. But the professional research, I don't know because I didn't study it in the university. My kind of study is different. But when I get an opportunity in that station, immediately accepted. But the destiny was waiting there. Lot of birds, the dead bodies of birds, arrived to our institution for postmortem and analysis. That is a 3-year study. Many birds, they get endangered and extinct list. Why the mortality rate keep on increasing? That is what the research went in that institute in that time. So every day putting tag and organizing the bodies really is painful because if one bird removed from the environment, immediately it will reflect with 40 species. 40 species, irreversible damage, they will be removed from the environment because it's so closely connected. And if I start talking about birds, 100 birds I can identify at a time with a shadow, with their voice, because every day I lived with them. My heart went with them. Why this is happening? The result, we are waiting for the result. Finally, they came with the result, alpha endosulfan, beta endosulfan. These are the chemicals filled in the heart vessels of the birds and causing the damage to them, cancer and all these deaths. So what is this? The farmers are using these chemicals in the lands to control the insects. If to kill an insect, one ppm poison is enough. But to a bird, 10 insects are its ration. So if it consumes 10 insects, 10 worms, then 10 ppm poison, it is enough to kill that bird. So it is called bioaccumulation. So this is the cause for the death of birds and extinct of more species. It was really shocking. So that is the day I started traveling to farmers. Why they are using this much of chemicals, why they are dependent. And we are on the top of the pyramid. And this poison, how it is going to affect our food and our health system. These are the two questions. For me, the day is not for helping farmers, but to understand why they are applying these many chemicals. Because I want birds to be there. The connectivity with birds forced me to meet and talk with the farmers to negotiate. But we entered into the field, I saw that no farmer are happy. They think that farming is a curse on them. They lost all their native knowledge. Native seeds are not available in the public domain. Everything is market driven. We are talking about WTO and all others. Indian agriculture is the first victim for globalization. So it is completely hijacked by the corporations, most of them US corporations. And see yesterday, day before yesterday, huge merging. The farmer at the last end, he couldn't understand what's happening outside. But this merging and the monopoly, these things are going to result on the heads of an Indian farmer and Asian farmer and know what to do. So this only motivated me. You have to support. So how to make your efforts? Everything is scientific because I'm coming from a scientific. Being a researcher, I want proof for everything, records, proofs, and without testing, you cannot say to anyone. So only one thing I am telling repeatedly to farmers: non-cooperation. That is what our father Gandhi told us. If we reject GMO, if we reject fertilizer, if we reject all these other things, who have the guts? Who are going to force you? If I put the board, non-cooperation for your products, okay, then you should stay out of my field. I have every freedom in my farmland. So this is what we are teaching. So this is the real motivation. Thank you.
Congratulations, thank you so much. We need hundreds of thousands of Revatis. How shall we produce them?
Yeah, it's because of you. Sundarbans, see, you have 20,000 plus Revatis. Wherever we go, immediately we do. I understand. I don't know whether I could able to come next time or not. Because every time when we travel, I get something. From Andhra floods, chikungunya. When I travel to Sri Lanka, already I was hijacked. So luckily escaped. But thyroid problem and all this problem, that problem because of the pressures of the place. The people in Sri Lanka, 1 kilo of tomato, 900 rupees. Whereas in my place it is 9 rupees. Compare them because of the civil war. So when I brought food, the children coming there, they saw that I have tomatoes and potatoes in my lunch box. They were surprised. excited and they want to taste this. That time only I came to know they don't have access at all. They have only chili chutney and rice. Every time they mix the chilies with the rice, I'm consuming. There is no vegetable available. My heart went. So I started eating everything and I told them, please bring something. Every day I go, no, please bring something what you have. Then all my diet habits changed. So I get affected by many things. So I understand. I don't have much time. So many seeds are very, very important. So wherever we go, we build a cadre first. We select leaf farmers, master farmers. Patiently we sit with them. We explain the entire story, how the land has potential. So how to improve soil fertility, how Mother Nature will respond to you, how to control disease and pest, this cadre development, and getting a social contract from him. See, all these things delivered to you, no cost, no single rupee. Long hours we spent, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in Sundarbans, no language. One person, Somik, aid volunteer, he was a PhD educated, well educated, and he did PhD in Harvard. He stayed at Sundarbans with me for many days to translate because language is a barrier. So we asked the people how you are going to pay back. We have a fees. So if I train you, you have to get this back to at least 10 farmers. Then they will cry on my return. They will say, Didi, please go. We will make it 100. I will do 100 farmers training. The next one will say, I will do 200. Please come next time. When I visit next time, people bring lot of vegetables and fruits. It worked out. They simply tell me, you brought the lives back, not because of the fertility was back, but they have seen the land as a new thing. I am telling repeatedly. See, Mother Nature, it took long years, more than 2 lakh years to bring this land. It is now in your hands. So you are blessed with the land. Just 50 years or 60 years, it is going to be with you. You get this land as a loan. You have to return back to your next generation. Please be patient and calm and more generous with this land. Because this is the small land. I get an apple. Every time I cut the apple into 4 pieces, 3 pieces I remove. Only 1 piece is remaining. And in the 1 piece, because 3 pieces, it is the globe. All the 3 pieces motion, water. And then 1 piece is remaining. And 1 piece you remove mountains, plateaus, buildings, and all these facilities and development. Then very small piece is remaining. In it also, the 9 inches topsoil is the one has the capacity to grow food. So now we are 7.5 billion people, and all the earthworms, all the decomposers, bacteria, and everybody should get food from the soil only. So if soil is affected, if any disaster, topsoil is affected, immediately we are going because we don't have soil. We couldn't move to moon or Mars. This is the only home available for all of us. So for that, we do lot of cadre development. For extension only, we need your support for cadre development for our institution. Our institution is near the coastal area, Velankani, South India. Whenever you have an opportunity to travel to South India, please visit. Please visit and please be with us. You can be a trainer. You can get some of the ideas. Whomever you meet, you deliver these ideas. Idea of information is very important. Denial of information is the worst part. Okay. The mystification of science is the one we are carrying so far. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Revati. I think in the interest of time, we'll stop there. But Revati will be around when you have dinner to interact further. I'll now pass the mic on to Somnath to further this discussion.
Thank you, Revati, and thank you everyone for being in this journey with us. Like Revati said, like the volunteers said, it's not a solitary journey. It's just not possible to move forward